Good morning, students. Today we are going to study history, chapter number 13, that is tribal communities during the British rule. Students, chapter number 12 is cut from your course for this session, and now we are going to study chapter number 13, and in this we are going to study the topics: life in the tribals, changes in the tribal community, tribal revolts, and Munda rebellions. Tribal peoples are scattered across different parts of India. They formed a small groups and live in that. They form a considerable proportion of population of India, and they have a good number of population in our country. Tribals children, we call them Adivasis or original settlers. Original settlers means they are the original people, those who live in forest. The traditional and cultural distinction of each tribal community has made them distinguishable from each other. They are different from each other. So many communities, tribal communities are there, such as Mundas, Santals, Orons, Begas, Gonds, Khasis, etc. So they make them different from each other. However, during the British rule in India, their life was quite difficult. Just as the British plundered India for its richness, they also exploited the tribal communities during that period. Children, tribals, as we know, are people who are relatively isolated, means they live away from the mainstream of the society. They live in a smaller group of their own. They have larger cultural influences and have a relatively greater cultural homogeneity. They have their own customs, culture, tradition, wishing to God, praying, etc. Then came the invasion of British on their land, created rebellions in their lives. Let us now study about this chapter. This was all about that we are going to study in this chapter, children. So here we come with the first topic, that is life of tribals. If we talk about the life of tribal children, India had diverse communities of tribal, which included Mundas, Santals, Orons, Begas, Gonds, Khasis, Nagas, and the Konds. They lived in dense forest and had their own rituals and tradition. They did not have caste distinction and all were treated equally. And now, if we talk about the economic activities of the tribal people, how they managed themselves. So, the tribals lived close to nature. They utilized forest resources for their living. Some were nomads while others led a settled life in the forest. And children, nomads, those who move from one place to another in search of food. They were nomads. Hunting and gathering were the main occupation of Konds, the tribal people of Odisha. These are the tribal people of Odisha. They hunted in a group and divided the meat among themselves. Whatever they used to hunt, they divide that food among themselves. The tribals collected fruits, roots, honey, and medicinal herb from the forest. Fruits and food cooked in sal and mahua oil were also eaten. Tribals obtained grains in exchange of their valuable forest produce. Some tribals even worked in farms as laborers or carried loads and engaged in construction of roads. Since they lacked the locally for daily needs, they had to depend on the traders and the money lenders. They borrowed money from them and returned it with the cash produced. Here I want to highlight one thing, that the Begas tribes were hesitant to work in farms as laborers, as they considered themselves to be the people of the forest and it was beyond their dignity to work in others' farm. So children, let us talk about zoom cultivation. The tribals followed shifting cultivation or zoom cultivation. They had different names. It was also known as slash or burn cultivation. Slash or and burn is a form of shifting agriculture primarily used by tribal communities. Now, what is this zoom or shifting cultivation? In this, basically, the cultivators cut the tree tops because they think that sunlight is not able to reach the ground level. So, what they do, they cut the tree tops, and after cutting, they burn the vegetation, means the ground, they make it empty, and that ash which comes out after burning, they spread the ash, and after spreading the ash, they prepare soil. Then when the rain comes, they again sow the seeds, and broadcasting or scattering is done. That I will explain you further. So children, as I have explained you about zoom cultivation, that natural vegetation is cut down and burned, and the ash is mixed with the soil as a method of clearing and enriching the land for cultivation. It provides nutrient to the soil. That ash gives nutrient to the soil. The seeds are sown on the land and the crop is allowed to grow. This method of sowing seeds in zoom cultivation is known as broadcasting or scattering. Then again the crops are harvested, and later when the land becomes infertile, after few years, 4-5 years of cultivation, the farm is left fallow. Fallow means here empty for several years. The tribals then move to a near fresh plot and repeat the same procedure. This kind of cultivation was prominent in forested and hilly regions of northeast and central India. If we talk about northeast zone, that is Manipur, Assam, this side. And if we talk about the central India, we have Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, etc. Now let us talk about herding and rearing. What this word generally herding means? Herding means that animal bringing together in a group, means a group of animals, and when they rear it for their livelihood. So this is called herding and rearing. So if we talk about herding and rearing, we have one Gujars of Shivaliks and Terai region in the north, and we have the community of Labadis of Andhra Pradesh, and they rear cattle. They were cattle herders. They looked after the cattle and moved in search of green pastures for their cattle. If in one region the green pastures is over, they move to another. For example, if we talk about Rajasthan, we don't have green pastures over there. So what they do, they bring their camels, sheep in the summer in Madhya Pradesh region. So they get their green pastures over there, right? As the grass got exhausted at one place, they migrate in a new place. As such, I told you, some other tribals like Gadis of Kulu, who were generally shepherds, and the Bakrawals of Kashmir, who reared goats. They rear goat and they gain wool from them. So here we have completed our first topic, that was life of the tribals, and next topic is changes in the tribal community, that we are going to begin now. See children, the life of the tribal completely changed when the British invaded their territories. Means when the British entered in their territories, in their forests, in their farms, their life was entirely changed. Before the British invaded or entered in their lives, in their farms, in their forest, the tribal chief enjoyed a privileged position and had authoritative powers, such as they have their own police, laws, forest powers, and the judiciary system. So children, as the British entered, the onset of the British rule changed the whole system of the tribals, as the powers were taken away from the hands of the tribal chief. In fact, they even had to pay a tribute to the British and control tribal groups for the British. Means now tribal groups has to work for the British. They had to forego their traditional functions and work for the British as their vassals. Here vassals means a servant, a dependent, or a slave. So Britishers treated the tribal as their vassals. Now let us talk about the agricultural system when the Britishers entered in the lives of the tribal, then what happened to the agriculture system. As such, children, we have already read about shifting cultivation or zoom cultivation, how the tribals used to perform agriculture. So now what changes came in their life after the entry of the British? The British, on the other hand, wanted the tribals to settle down at one place. Now the Britishers wanted the tribals that they should settle at one place and practice the agriculture, because it was difficult for them to control them and to collect the revenue, because they started collecting revenue from the tribals. So it was very difficult for the Britishers to collect the revenue. So they told them to settle at one place and do the farm activity. So it was difficult for them to track and control the nomadic clans, and therefore aimed to make them work as peasants and laborers in farms. They defined their rights, measured the land, and fixed the revenue for the tribals so that they might remain at one place. Now they forced them to live at one place. Now what was the result of it? The British aspiration came to a standstill when the zoom cultivators did not reap the expected yield from settled farming. Now see, children, the zoom cultivation, that was, or a shifting cultivation, was a way of the tribals to see that what type of land is there, how much fertility is there. Now after 4-5 years they used to shift and cultivate on different land. This was the method. But due to suppression of the British, they settled at one place because the Britishers want revenue from them. So the cultivation was not up to the level which the Britishers expected from them. And what was the reason? Many factors were responsible for this unexpected result. As the water was less and soil was dry, the produce was not good enough and the tribal suffered losses. Due to this, the tribal protested for the rights to carry out shifting cultivation. Now they started protesting against the British that they should be allowed to do the shifting cultivation. Due to this, changes in the forest laws were also there. Now what the British did? The Britishers enforced the forest laws and declared the forest as state property. They made forest as their own property, state property. They enforced a new law on the tribals that was entirely new for them. There were several restrictions imposed on tribals, such as no right to the forest produce, restriction on cutting trees, performing zoom cultivation and hunting. They can't do all these things. All the restrictions were on them. Some were not even allowed to live in forest. All this caused a turmoil and instability in tribal communities, as they considered the forest and its resources to be their own. That was the house, the home of the tribals, and the Britishers took all these advantages or the properties of the tribals as their own. They considered it as their own. All these factors ultimately resulted in the revolt. Many tribal groups rebelled against the colonial forest laws. They disobeyed the new rules. Now, whatever new rules were imposed on them, they disobeyed. They continued with the practice which were declared as illegal, and they used to do all the illegal work. They were doing their own work as they were doing, as their forefathers were doing, but Britishers considered it as illegal. Now children, because of the revenue collection system of the Britishers, because of the forest law of the British, that the tribal communities can't enter in the forest, that is not their home, or the forest products, natural products are not their own, from where they were earning and doing the shifting cultivation, all this was banned. So what happened? Now traders and money lenders came into power. Now what about this? The intrusion of money lenders, the intentions of the money lenders and the traders created problems for the tribals. What was the problem? They wanted forest produce, granted loans, and aimed to make tribals work as laborers in their farm. They offered high interest loans to the uneducated tribals and charged very high prices of the goods in exchange of the forest produce. Now let us talk about the trade of the tribes. The Santals were a tribe of present-day Jharkhand. Santals is a name of a tribal community, those who lived in Jharkhand. They reared cocoons for their livelihood. Now what is this word cocoon means? This is a silkworm from which we get silk, right? Understand this, children. Now what they did, the traders used to send their agents to the tribals to buy silk. These agents, or the so-called middlemen, derived huge benefits from this trade as they gave very little amount to the growers for their product and sold them at a comparatively high price to the exporters. They used to take the cocoons from the tribal people of Santals, and the middlemen, they take high benefits from it, the cocoons, to which they send to the exporters. So the conditions of the tribal worsened in the 19th century when they were forced to work in the coal mines of Bihar. Now what happened, the condition, the livelihood was not up to the mark of the tribals, so they were forced to work in the coal mines of Bihar and tea plantation of Assam. They were made to work for a long hours on a very low wages, and also not allowed to return to their homes. They were not allowed to return to their family members, to their homes. So this was all done with the tribal people through Britishers.